Welcome to The Last Video Store, the show where I, Alexei, your movie maestro and guru, will interview and chat to cool, funny, interesting, exciting people about their favorite movies, and then I shall give them a recommendation based on their taste, just like you would do back in the old school days in an actual brick and mortar video store. But our video store is virtual, it's illuminated, it's beautiful, it is up there in the sky. It is almost like heaven itself, where we've got every single movie on our shelves. And joining me in the Last Video Store today, I have genuinely feel excited about this episode. In the show today, we have got Killing Heidi. Now, you were probably more excited than I was.
Hey, you've been saying that a lot recently.
But this one, come on.
So excited.
Yes.
So excited. I mean,
I've never seen you be switched to sincere so quickly just then.
But seriously, for a second.
Yeah, but truly, this is like one of my favorite bands of all time.
This is our era. This is our era. They came along and were doing stuff that other Australian musical acts weren't really doing, and they're so cool and nice.
Yeah, nice and cool. I've got it here. This is the vinyl version of Reflector, the 25th anniversary edition. It's all lenticular. It's got some beautiful holographics on it. But Jesse and Ella Hooper came in, chatted to us about their favorite movies. Genuinely, I was looking so forward to this.
Yeah.
This is, like you said, it's one of the bands from our era, one of the bands from our time. One of those things where I listen to the music and I picture my life. You know, that's kind of what it is. We is one of those songs for me of all time. Where
it's one of the greatest, I swear.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It scored my life. It's the #1 track on the Looking for ALIBRANDI soundtrack.
It truly did score your life.
Literally my favorite movie of all time. And so I've just been so looking forward to it. Been a big fan of them all. I also loved Ella Hooper on the Josh L season of Spicks and Specs. I think the best version of Spicks and Specs, I'll say it. I've never been booked for the other one, so I'm going to say I'll say it on the record. But a big Killing Heidi fan.
Yeah.
They're on a tour basically right now for the 25th anniversary of Reflector, their debut album. And that's what we've got here right now as well. I can't wait to start listening to this.
Yeah.
But go see them live. I'm trying to go to see them live as well with this record, because I think it's this great thing at the moment, this embracing of not just nostalgia, but reminiscing about parts and creativity that meant something to you.
Yeah.
I think there's something in music that just really, really evokes something quite powerful. And I think it's something also worthwhile for the artists to revisit their work and hear it again and bring new memory and the passage of time and new voice to it. And how there's something about that I find extremely exciting.
Yeah.
Ben Lee's also doing it.
Yeah.
These guys are doing it, revisiting their seminal works and going back to them. I think there's something really beautiful about sharing that with the audience who can also going through something like that. It's much different to film. We're also in a nostalgia period with film. But I think with music, there's something really deep and very, very special about it. So I cannot wait to see this live. I've been so looking forward to them coming into the store, talking to them about their movies. I've said it 100 times already in this intro, but I was so thrilled. I was so thrilled.
Yeah. And you have to watch the YouTube version of this to find out whether they both still have their dreadlocks.
You have to. Or if I'm wearing a dreadlocks too. Yes. I may have matted my hair out.
Yes, we're wearing those hats with the
Rasta hats.
No, we're not. For anyone listening, we're not.
We're not. Let it be known we didn't get them in a show bag. But truly, this is a very fun one, because the challenge is trying to recommend a film to two people. And, they're siblings. They've known each other their whole life, yet they have differing tastes. We will find out.
Very eclectic taste.
Very eclectic taste. Try and find something in the middle of them to recommend them a film that I think they'll both like. And also, that's very fun. Should I say one movie that comes up is 28 Days Later. There's a new sequel coming out 28 weeks later. I think at the time you're hearing this, it's just out now in cinemas. This is one of your favorite movies as well, right?
Yeah.
28 Days Later.
28 Days Later.
Yes.
I love that film. I rewatched it recently, and I've watched it a ton of times, but I rewatched it in literally in the last few months, and oh my God, it holds up so well, scarily well.
You'll hear my thoughts in the episode, but We're going to try and see the sequel very, very soon. So hopefully someone picks up as a new release anytime soon. I'm dying to see this movie.
Yeah.
But enough about us. Let us get into this chat with Killing Heidi, Ella Hooper, Jesse Hooper, all-timers.
Alexei Hooper now.
Wow.
Yep.
The third sibling, finally. My big brother and sister have come to pick me up.
Yep.
That's what now that's psychotic fan fiction.
Yeah,
and we've just concocted.
Maybe listen to this and be like, yeah, we're not going back on that show.
He just said he was our little brother. I'm like, yeah, I'm psycho. I played it pretty cool. Seemed like a nice, normal guy when we're hanging out. Made you guys excited about film.
No.
But I am a
We
psychopath.
turn into freaks when they do these
I
intros.
know, it's so embarrassing. Hopefully none of the celebrities listen back to these and hear these horrifying intros. But check it out. The album is re-released right now. It's got lots of bonus tracks. Oh, I'm so excited. Here's the episode though. I gotta stop talking. You gotta hear me talk elsewhere.
The last video store.
Killing Heidi, thank you for jumping into the last video store with me today.
So good to be in here.
Pumped.
Smells like a real video store.
Oh, it certainly
Some
does.
memories, happy memories.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a guy smoking durries in here for 20 years just to get that carpet smell that video stores
So,
have.
so
Love it.
authentic, so authentic. Bit of teenage sweat, bit of nervous kind of hand palms,
Yeah.
stuff on the
That's a weird combo of like teenagers that you were friends with. Like, how'd you get the job here? Because that's the job I want. And also like the really grumpy old owner who's just so bitter and twisted that you don't want to be like that
Yeah.
guy. Like, I don't know.
On this show, I've morphed into both things. I'm simply the anxious teenager and the grubby owner that's underpaying him the entire time.
But just true authenticity. You had to play both roles.
Absolutely. I'm all about the verisimilitude on the podcast. That's what I'm trying to get in, that immersive authenticity. I want to kick things off asking you guys, because you are like the exact right age range of people that had proper video store memories and childhoods. Tell me some video store memories. Take me back. Evoke the feelings. I'll shut my eyes if I need to. but take me
Well,
back.
look, the two that come to mind were, so we grew up in, Violet Town or just outside of Violet Town, which was too small to have its own video shop, but had the local, the
little
convenience store with the wall at the back.
That's right.
Right? And
Wow.
I think they still do. I'm going to throw
I
that out
think they
there, right?
actually
And the beauty and the challenge with that is that they rotate it maybe every 6 months, but they've only got 30 choices. So it's kind of like your video shop you go to when you've forgotten to go to the main one on the way back. Oh no, we've got to go there. And it's like there's also like a weird mix of horror, X-rated stuff for the weird local
And
weirdos.
it's just one shelf, so it's all
It's
together.
all together. It's
Yeah,
family.
and as a
It's
kid,
Care
you're like,
Bears next to porn. It's weird. It's
Yeah.
weird. It's weird.
No
That's
curtain.
quite the combo.
But then either side of Violet Town we had Benalla to the north and Euroa to the south, which had those classic regional video stores.
So you had to journey to get there.
Oh
as well,
yeah, it was a mish.
But to be honest, I think, we grew up on such limited media. Parents were kind of like, cool, educated hippies, but we were too busy strumming our guitars and didn't actually do a lot of video hiring as kids. But then as young adults, when we hit Melbourne, that's when my video store career really bloomed.
Okay,
that's
take
where
me
I was
there.
like getting crushes on the hot guys that worked there, sort of surreptitious motivations for going to the video store a lot. Everyone knows the one I'm talking about. If you ever lived in Balaclava in between 1996 and the year 2000, you know what I'm talking about.
That is our core demographic for this podcast.
Yeah.
Is that little that little block of humanity from that time period?
I feel like we actually all did go through something pretty special, and grabbing the weeklies and finding out so much about cool art house films, and as you do as a wannabe cool young teen, early 20s person, you want to know all the indie stuff. And I don't know, it was just a really happy time. And obviously we were partying a lot. There was a lot of recovery needed and involved. So getting out the occasional box set to recover from your head all day for multiple days maybe. You might
Okay,
need something
wow.
that's going to go through Monday and Tuesday.
Running through a whole series.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I want to hear.
Good times.
On the topic of like music and film together, I really want to ask you guys, because my favorite movie of all time is Looking for ALIBRANDI. Track 1 of the Looking for
That's
ALIBRANDI
us.
soundtrack is you guys.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Can I ask, do you have
you.
any connection to that film still? What was it like, I guess, I mean, I always find it interesting with like those kind of mixtape soundtracks is does it have like a value add to you guys? Does it have something for you? Does it hold something to have your art in another piece of art?
Yeah, I mean,
It's very flattering.
It's cool. I can't remember how that came about, other than like, oh, they want to use this song. I think like, yeah, sure, absolutely go for it, right? But I feel like it is really cool because I think there's something about having your song to a scene that you don't get to dictate, right? So with the video clips, you have to curate this stupid wank. What are we going to do with that video clip? It's like such a boring thing as a band. You hate doing it. It's like just the worst part of being in a band making video clips, like just in case you don't know. But then to have your song put to someone else's visuals, oh, beautiful. I don't have to be there.
It feels so much more legitimizing.
Oh, it's like it adds to it. Like I just love it.
But that's a special one. They're having their anniversary too. I think
true,
it is
yes.
25 years of looking for ALIBRANDI. And that's one of those perfect storm things that Killing Heidi freakishly and thankfully had a lot of. There was a lot of, you know, that was the summer of, you know, it was the year 2000. You know, it's got a nice ring to it.
Millennium.
Yeah, millennium. All of these magical things that lined up with us breaking, being on the biggest Australian film that had been in a long time. You know, people are obsessed with that movie.
I literally am.
And you
I'm
are.
obsessed. It's my
You
favorite
bless
movie
you.
of all time.
Look, I'm gonna own up.
Being
I
random
honestly
so
got no idea what it's about. I saw it when I was like probably just partying too hard. So I'm gonna watch that. That's another recommendation.
Take
you've
that.
just
Yes,
given me.
take the recommendation.
And I get to see my song. I get to hear my song in it.
Yeah,
Bonus.
you'll be freaked out. I'd love to see what you write back to me. Go, it was scored well. It worked well
Awesome.
with it.
It always makes me. Now I've got Teenager of the Bloody Year in my head. So
That's what I
that's
was thinking
Lotel,
about.
right?
That's Lotel.
I think they were the real breakout star of
Yeah.
that soundtrack.
No, that's a great
Well,
song.
they got married.
of the
Pia Miranda, they
Exactly.
got married.
What?
And
He
the
married
lead from
the
Lotel.
star.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
The singer from
I wonder if
Lotel.
they're still
Guess
together.
What were you just snoozing?
Yeah.
So you could have been married to Pia Miranda. She could have been my sister-in-law.
Yeah, it could have been.
Just
Could have
joking.
been. What could have been? And you know, the other one that I really want to ask you about, because it's from that era that I think is so funny, which is music videos with clips from movies in them. And I Am from Spider-Man 2
Yes.
soundtrack. Can you tell me, like, how does that even happen?
Yeah. Well, someone actually asked me the other day in the band. Was someone asked me? Yeah, so we've got a few new band members joining us on the road. She was like, "So did you write?" I think it was her. She said, "Did you write that song for that in mind?" It was like, no. It was that song was done.
That song's not
It
about
was-
Spider-Man.
No,
it's not about
Well,
being Peter Parker.
I mean, it is
Well,
about hidden identity.
Hidden
so it's
identities, yeah.
perfect.
But it was that she felt like it was.
I read it very literally. Going, well, it's about Peter Parker's hidden identity. You know.
It is if you want it to
she
be.
thought it was written about a brief. We just got so lucky. We were with Sony at that point. They were looking for some extra songs to pick up for the Australian release of the promo of the song, but somehow it was negotiated that we could cut in the Spider-Man footage into the video clip. Like, you know, I was just bitching about the video clips.
Yeah.
So we had to shoot it, but then I was like, well, half
That
of it's
was
just
a good one.
half of it's just going to be Tobey Maguire flying through New York. I'm like, well, that sounds pretty cool. And I don't have
That's
to do
pretty
that.
high production
And it
value
looks sick.
to have a movie star
That's right.
as Spider-Man swinging around the big
I
city.
mean, you can't take that away from us. I mean, say what you want about our funny old career. It's been up, it's been down, it's been all around. But we have a film
We had
clip
Spider-Man.
with Spider-Man and Tobey Maguire. And was it Kirsten Dunst? That was the...
That's Kirsten Dunst.
it's
It's
Upside Down
also
Kiss.
Alfred Molina as Doc Ock. is
Molina.
making
Oh
a
my
cameo
God.
in the video.
My favorite Spider-Man villain, Doc Ock, for sure.
That was a good one, actually.
And that was a
Yeah.
good film clip. So you know your anti-film clip rant. We take it back for that one because the crew were amazing, and that was probably one of the most high-end productions we'd done. You know, days and days of green screen.
Yeah.
I think I fall down a crack in the factory,
world.
the
It's
fake
true.
street scene that we were in. It was pretty amazing.
Well, then may I suggest that for the rest of your videos to like save time, you could just use compilations of Spider-Man clips. You know, just pop them in. Just put
love
the
it.
song of the soundtrack of it all.
Love it.
If that's legal, I think we should do it. Yeah.
I don't know if
copyright.
it's legal, but I still think you should do it.
Okay,
I
cool.
think so. I'll do whatever I can to make it happen. But guys, thank you so much for coming to the video store. I'm gonna actually send you out to peruse the shelves, pick up some of your favorite movies,
Look at all
come
these
back
great-
to me. I'm gonna go guru style and try and recommend you the perfect film.
Please.
Especially if you guys to watch it together while you're on tour. I think that's the actual thing that I'm gonna try and do. Is try
right.
to find something somehow in exactly the middle of your taste.
Holy cow.
I mean, you guys grew up together. Presumably your tastes do not differ that much.
You'd be surprised.
We are brother and sister. Like, yeah, there are points where we meet and points where we really go polar opposite.
Can I ask, what is it like the polar opposite? What are the things, or will it come up, do you think, when you talk about some movies?
Well, I'm just gonna. I'll stereotype Ella, and maybe she can stereotype me.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
That's fair.
Arty, cool, lefty. Doesn't make sense, but like has some kind of deep, meaningful kind of stuff, and that's And then Ella can retort with me.
Yeah. I think Jesse likes a laugh and he likes a flashbang.
Yeah.
But nothing wrong with that. So I'm not dissing it. But you know, from your sort of what was it Team Americas to your, you know, and so anything with a sense of a humour. Jesse's still stuck in the South Park kind of sense of humour,
Okay, I
kind
love
of
to hear that.
world. But again, no shade.
Yeah.
It is
Wow,
it
we'll get
is-
some grotty and grubby laughs going.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
what I'm hoping for.
when culture delivers me something better than that, as like laughing at reality and loving at the present times, I'll convert.
Yep.
But I think South Park pretty much sums it up for me. Simpsons was amazing, but like South Park goes deeper. Like you know, just like brutally weird and funny and no holds barred. So that's kind of that's my bag.
I will give you an off the books recommendation right now. This is off the cuff, off the dome. This is just something for you now. I did just see a movie that I would describe as like a feature-length South Park episode that caught me in the most surprising way. It's the new Ari Aster film Eddington, and it feels so much like a art house version of South Park that I couldn't believe like what they were doing. It's weird, set in 2020 in a small town. I think you'll really dig it.
I'm gonna have to write that down before I leave. Thank
I'll
you.
write it
I'm
down.
already excited
I'll
about it.
blaze it to you right now.
I love it.
Go for a one that
Let's
comes
hit the
back.
shelves.
Let's talk
Let's
about
do
the
it.
All right.
movies.
Weekly.
And now we're back. We're going to go straight to it.
We hit the shelves. We've got our selections.
Okay, we've got two distinct piles of two movies. It's held in front of you right now. I think we're going with one of your choices first, Ella, because it feels very of the moment. This is from the weekly section, from the horror section. Yes. I reckon one of the great horror films of the turn of the millennium. This is Danny Boyle and Alex Garland's 28 Days Later.
Yeah.
Maybe the coolest zombie movie ever made.
I think so.
Horror.
I love zombie movies. So, like, you know, I'm a fan of most zombie movies unless they're really, really shit. Like, I just always enjoy people's different interpretations of what's with those zombies. Can you kill them? How can you kill them? Are they hordes? Are they singular? Are they fast? Are they slow? I just
Dumb, smart.
Are they dumb? Are they smart? Well, they're usually pretty dumb, but they're terrifying nonetheless.
No one's in a fast and smart zombie
Hang on,
movie.
we need a smart zombie movie. That's genius, bro.
That actually, well, maybe the Marvel zombies, that comic books. I haven't done a movie yet, but there were some smart zombies there. Anyway, I should do that.
but I mean, Danny Boyle,
Yes.
amazing.
I'm a big Danny Boyle
Alex
head,
Garland.
one of my favorite filmmakers growing up, and now always like interested to see what he's doing next.
Yeah.
Because he'll jump from something huge, then he'll go to something really tiny. And I
Yeah.
find it really interesting what he's doing. But having caught up with 28 Days Later again, years later, for me, what really struck me, and the new opinion that I was surprised to have, was I actually love the way it looks. Like, it's shot on this like DV cam, early like Canon, like prosumer, I believe the term would be, where you're a professional consumer.
Oh, wow.
Like those
What?
prosumer cameras, because it was filmed on quite a small budget, and to be able to get things set up and just go for it, they had just like kind of handy cams shooting it. So it has not aged well, quote unquote, because it can't go up to a 4K, doesn't look like 35mm film.
Right.
So it's all quite digital and quite crunchy. But watching it again the other night, I was like, fuck me. I think it
Isn't
looks
that-
awesome.
That's so funny how everything old is new again kind of thing. Because isn't
Yes.
that an aesthetic that's so back in, like musically
Absolutely.
or fashion-wise? It blows me away that so many really cool, hip guys and gals out there are wearing exactly what we wore
Yeah.
like in the Y2K moment. And it's not fancy. Like, it is crunchy. It is a bit dirty. There are frayed edges and cheap bling elements to it. So that movie sort of feels like that aesthetic.
I think
It
I was smoking
truly does.
too many bongs. Can you just give me like just the
Oh, you
quick,
don't know
like,
what I'm talking about.
yeah, no, I know the movie, but I can't remember anything like plot wise. Like, give me just like the start, middle, finish, like quick nutshell version. But maybe you
Yeah.
Well-
Explain it like someone's just smoking a couple of bongs. How would you
Yeah, yeah,
explain
yeah,
the
like-
movie?
Okay, like, so you wake up.
Yeah.
You don't know from what
It's like
kind
an
of
airport scene, or rushing through an airport, maybe I'm going crazy. No.
I
it's-
think that's 12 Monkeys.
Oh, I think it's
Yeah,
got
no,
monkeys.
not 12
Oh my
monkeys.
god,
Yeah,
I'm so
12
confused. I was
monkeys.
smoking a lot of
No,
bongs.
this is-
Yeah, but you know,
Oh my
that's
God.
still part and
I
parcel.
don't want to
If
tell you because you get to watch it.
All right,
whole.
fine,
You get
okay,
to watch
fine,
what,
don't
3
ruin
of
it.
them before the new one.
Yeah, there's a new one coming
So
out
what it's a
ASAP.
series, bro.
Yeah,
So,
I know, I've
yeah.
seen it. I just, yeah,
28
like I
days,
said.
28
weeks.
Ah, yes.
28
28
years.
years.
All right.
But no one has done months.
No.
So if you get inspired when you smoke a few bongs, you could do a little mid-quill for it.
I don't smoke bongs anymore, but
You
maybe I'll
certainly did
remember them
at
this
the
time.
time.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
whatever the modern day
All right.
equivalent for you
Yeah,
of that is.
glass of wine, maybe. We'll
Maybe
see.
not. A nice
bowls
burgundy.
of
Nice
wine.
burgundy.
Bowls of wine. I can drink a bowl of wine for sure.
But
sure.
I really love this film. And I think, Ella, I'd like to find out, like, when did you first come into it? Did you see it in the cinema? How did it first come to you?
We had the most amazing cinema in the countryside, believe it or not. So not a lot of places to rent videos, but we had this art house cinema in the bush in a little town called Swanpool, and they would do a double feature where they'd play a sort of something slightly mainstream a long time after it hit the the normal movies. That would be their new release. And then they'd pop an art house or a challenging one. Sometimes I saw things there I probably should not have seen as an 11-year-old going to the movies out in the country. Anyway,
But it
it's a
helps you become who you are.
it
That's
it shaped me. No shit. Swanpool Cinema, late nights, double features shaped me because I saw Tank Girl there. I saw Sex and Zen there. I saw all these wacky. Anyway, as a kid growing up, and once you'd driven all the way out to Swanpool, and by the way, it's a perfectly preserved 1950s cinema with the big light
In the middle of nowhere.
in the middle of nowhere in
my
the hills,
God.
floodlights out the front, volunteer
Take me
run.
with you.
The
I'm
volunteer
gonna
ushers
go.
wear tuxes,
Oh
and you
my
take your
God.
own mug. You take your own mug for $2 hot chocolates that they're still the best I've ever had, and then you take that mug home in the evening. Anyway. And you
Oh
sit in
my
uncomfortable
God.
seats. Your ass is just aching because you're on these 1950s broken ass chairs. Anyway, it's just a very special place. Pianola roll would play before the movies. So
Get
that's
to
where
the
I-
movie, Schneebly. Come
That's
on.
where I saw it, and so anything I ever saw there kind of went straight in. That's true of of one of my other picks as well. So it was just like the most amazing way to take in movies in the freezing cold in the middle of
Yeah.
nowhere in a 1950s cinema.
But this is the one, if you're not familiar with it, like this one is the first kind of like fast zombies. Like,
Yes.
this is
Yes.
the fast zombies.
Piles and
Yeah,
helicopter
piles
shooting
and
piles of
No,
zombies,
that's
isn't it?
World War Z.
Oh my
God.
God.
You've seen
Jesse,
every movie except
you know
this
I've
nothing
seen
one.
them all. I
about
just don't
zombie
remember which
movies.
one's which. Okay, all right.
But this
fair
is
call.
like more, I would say, more leaning slightly to the art house direction as far as
Gritty.
like zombies go. Quite gritty, but it's the opening sequence really is. Cillian Murphy wakes up in a hospital bed. There's
Yeah.
no one around him. He goes wandering the
doesn't know
streets
what-
of London. They're
the fuck's
completely dead,
Yes.
which in itself is like
Wait, how did
that's
they?
how they
I
do
mean,
that.
you
shit.
might know. How did they do that?
I think they released an actual zombie outbreak. That's how that's the early way I can imagine doing it.
Of course.
Maybe
yeah.
they did it really
Yeah.
early in the morning,
Yeah, yeah.
but because
Yeah.
they've got those tiny cameras, they're able to like get stuff really quick and get things, made. So it
Right.
might have been some trickery. Actually, I don't know.
So cool
I'll
because
look
it's
into it.
iconic opening scenes walking through London,
I'm
and
sure
Cillian
I've seen
Murphy's
it.
so cool.
He's so cool in
love
it.
him.
And then it's them like he wanders out, he meets some other people and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like it goes in interesting directions that I won't spoil
All right,
because
no, all right, yeah,
it's
leave
still
it.
right now. It's in the culture.
I'm going to download it
in the
tonight.
zeitgeist,
Rent it tonight.
baby.
You can rent this one. I'm gonna see your combo. You guys are taking over together. You're
love
renting it right now.
I love it.
But I think this is a great one. Great soundtrack as well. Great score.
Yeah.
Really, I think it's like as far as zombie movies go, they always have like a commentary, social commentary. I think having this thing be like this turn of the millennium scare works really well. Having these fast zombies creates something new for the genre, creates a new life force for it. And I think it pairs so well with like the original classic of Night of the Living Dead. I think these two together just work so beautifully.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Do you think that some of the commentary, I don't know, really, it was about druggy kind of elements too? Like, I don't know, when the zombies were fast, and that really shocked me, and they were just so frothing and relentless and... Well, of course they're zombies, they're dehumanized, but like they had no humanity. It just seemed like overcrowded cities / drugs / I'm not sure if some of those elements were sort of in there.
I think that'd be some way that I find it hard not to read it that way. Like, especially when you're confronted by them, because it's not like a rotting flesh, some guy come out like after 100 years of being underground.
Slow from a
It's like, it looks really scary because it's a guy coming at you, they're frothing at the mouth and stuff. They're kind of all scraggled up. It's called rage is the virus
the
that they've
rage,
got.
yeah.
Yes.
So I think there is something in that where you go, seeing how they transform into it, you can't not read it that way. But that is 28 Days Later. I think one of the coolest movies, one of the great pickups we've had here. And now, Jesse, we're moving on to your one. And no one has picked this yet. And I'm so surprised no one has. So you have the honor of being the first person to ever pick up. It's in the dusted off section here. It's all been dusty because no one's picked it up yet. But would you like to say the title?
Well, I think we're talking about Star Wars New Hope.
We are talking
certainly
about
hope
Star
so.
Wars: A New Hope.
Adventure.
Yeah.
No one has ever picked up which version. You're going to do the original version, the '97 remaster.
I think let's pretend this is like just the first time, you know, like, and I think it would have been one of those ones where your grandparents had some VHS that everyone had been watching for a few years. And I just remember seeing it going, I don't know, there was like good and evil. There was a bit of safe kind of levels of fear and challenge too. And, you know, then, probably the first time not even realizing, oh my God, this is like part of a broader trilogy, which is just killer and inspiring. I don't know. I've been a lifelong Star Wars tragic.
Yeah.
I don't want to touch on too much in the last 20 years because I think like at first, like I was like, yeah, it's fine. But now I'm like, you've shat all over my spiritual happy place. You know,
Is it
Disney.
just 3 movies for you? Is that all it is?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can see. I love bits of the what do you call it? The
prequels? The sequels?
Prequel trilogy had some moments in it, but then like in hindsight, I'm like, no, like they should have just got Tarantino to do something wild with Star Wars. Anyway, but let's go to New Hope. I'd never seen anything like it, you know, and I think there was just so many parts of that which inspired, you know, swinging around sticks with your mates, like lightsaber fighting just became like the best fun ever. You know, masks, like wearing thick buckets on your head, like shooting anything that you could find as stormtroopers. Like I just felt like it pervaded every part of my childhood fantasy playing life.
Your imagination went
Let alone the
wild for
merchandising,
Star
like being obsessed with like the toys, you know, and at one point I had a dream which I thought was real for a long time. And I think I was probably I don't want to make myself look too weird or not weird enough.
No, you can
But
go
let's
fully weird.
all
It's whatever you
So
need
I'm
to
going
do.
to say I'm as
Whatever needs to
how
happen
old
will
would I have
happen.
been when I first saw that movie? I don't know. Like so it came out in 77.
77.
So I wouldn't have seen it when I was 7. So I was 7. I was born in 80. So I definitely
you would have
didn't see it
seen
when
that
I
in
was
-7.
-3.
Yeah.
So I saw it before I was born. That's probably why I love it so much. No, let's say I saw it probably like in, you know, when I was 10, like in 90. So it's probably been out for a while, late 80s, right? And at that point, the whole original trilogy's out.
Yeah.
But I remember having this conversation with my mum saying, we're friends with Carrie Fisher. Like I had this dream and it was so pervasive that there was like, we knew she was a film star, but she lived in Melbourne. We were kind of friends with her. We were going to go to her place for a play and I couldn't let go of it. It was I was so sure.
You were convinced.
No, but yeah, I did that it wasn't a dream, that it was actually reality, that like it took me a couple of years to kind of like realize that it was just this fantasy that I had, that we were friends with Carrie Fisher and it wasn't really the case. But I guess it sunk into my brain in the level that nothing ever had there. And I don't know, I mean,
Perhaps in another galaxy far, far away, you were friends of Carrie.
Yeah.
There are many timelines. It's possible that
I think I wanted her to be like my auntie, in the Jabba bikini kind of vibe. I
pretty
think there's
cool.
something weird going on there. But
Do you have a favorite Star Wars creature or character?
Ooh, yeah, I'm sure I do. I feel like the Darth Vader's like was so scary and so awesome. Yeah. But I don't know, Han Solo was just so cool. I mean, he was just like so cool. Harrison Ford, you know, from everything I've read, was just like he just didn't give a fuck. He was like flippant. He was just amazing. Yeah, I think those.
You do have
two.
a lot of Darth Vader shit.
I do have a lot
A
of Darth
lot
Vader.
of Darth Vader shit. From an outside observer,
Yeah.
Vader's pretty prevalent.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm just watching Andor season 2 at the moment. I'm loving Andor, I gotta say. So as much as I was pooping on everything else,
Yeah.
Rogue One, amazing.
Yeah.
I gotta
Andor,
tell you,
amazing.
I'm a huge Star Wars fan as you. Like, same as you, it's been my life growing up. The new movies kind of got me off. I would say the Rise of Skywalker. When I saw that, I go, I'm free. I don't think I like this stuff
Yeah.
anymore.
I'm free.
And I felt like a weight lift from me. I'm like, I can start breathing and I feel released from it. And I can't watch Andor. I can't get into it because it seems too good. And I go, there's no freaky deaky little creature aliens in it. I need more. For me, Star Wars needs to be at least 30% bad.
Ewoks. Okay,
Like it
you want-
needs
yeah,
Ewoks.
right, okay.
It needs like
Yeah.
some,
All right.
a racist caricature alien for me to go, okay,
Uh-huh.
that's
Yeah.
problematic. I like
The
that.
new classic.
I need something like that needs to be in there. And for Andor to be too serious and too cool, I'm like, I can't do it.
All right. No, fair
Can't
call.
do it. If they had like, a 1950s style diner with like 5 arms, that's what I'm in
Yeah,
for.
no,
That's
I
what I
like
like.
That is my happy place with it. I like a bit of the shit elements of Star Wars.
Yeah, see? Okay, there we go. That's what I'm after.
Controversial.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, look, for me, when the sequel trilogy came out, we were invited to the premiere, and I remember going to the first one.
That's right.
And coming out because I was there, and we had got these little Star Wars medallions, and they made it so good. I was like, "This is good. This is good." And I was kind of convinced myself, "This is okay. This is good." And then with my mates and Ellen, like, "That was all right, wasn't it?" And then it's sort of like, oh, coming down, and then the next one, and then Princess Leia's flying through space, and then when they made Luke suck on the titties of that alien and throw his lightsaber off the cliff, that's when I felt like someone had shat on my childhood, my favorite thing in my life. So that hurts.
I'm going to tell you, that's my favorite moment. That's my Star Wars, is
Oh, is
Luke
it?
sucking that tin of that green milk
You guys-
fish monster.
That fish weird monster.
That's what I want. I want more of that.
Okay,
If
right.
Andor was started making out with that thing,
No,
that's what I'd
Ender's
be
good.
in.
So you really drank the Kool-Aid, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, because you had to.
That's it. I
What do you
had
call
to.
that? Stockholm syndrome.
I did get Stockholm
You
syndrome.
got Stockholm
And
syndrome.
I was raised with Stockholm syndrome. for
He's
Star
still
Wars.
fighting it. He's still fighting it.
Maybe I should just embrace it. I mean, you look happier than me
Yes.
about it, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Embrace it, bro.
You got to drink the milk from that fish monster's teeth. That's how you get there.
That's going to give you another whole other dream.
Well, that is Star Wars, the first ever time it's been picked on the podcast. How do you
I
feel?
believe that.
Relief?
Yeah.
Can you
I
breathe
don't
India
know.
now
I
as
can-
well?
I'm going to watch some Andor tonight to flush that out of my
Yeah.
system.
It cannot be overstated how big a part of our lives, our childhood Star Wars was. Like we would play Star Wars a lot, embodying those characters and running around, being a part of that world. I think it was pretty cornerstone for our imaginations and weirdly, killing HEIDI, a little bit of the band from space.
That's true.
Had a little bit of
Yeah.
a strong space theme in our first creative project. They were always,
Truly.
Silver, we had a lot of silver
and Rocket Man on the cover of our record.
stuff
Yeah.
going on.
25 years later,
That's true.
planted that seed.
There we go. It's all come full circle with Star Wars.
Wrap that up.
And I would say it's not dissimilar from the next movie you've got in front of you, Ella. I would say, as far as imagination goes, as far as like far out warped creativity goes,
Yeah.
you've got like one of the, I would say, breakthrough kind of art house science fiction cult movies from that video store era. You've got from Jean-Pierre Jeunet and Marc Caro, you have got The City of Lost Children.
Yes.
A steampunk wonder.
Cult.
Tell us about this film, because I think it's one that, maybe people from a newer generation of video store kids, it might just be kind of outside of their realm.
They've missed it, which is crazy because, without that, there would be no Amelie. There would be no, no. So in my day, crusty old my day, this was like one of the coolest movies. And look, it's funny you say, I didn't even realize it is steampunk. Oh, for shame. Steampunk, maybe not the coolest thing, but this movie
No, but
was
this
very
is what's
cool.
I
Very,
think this
very
is
cool.
so cool, this movie.
Exactly.
It's like, it's not steampunk, it's more steampunk adjacent, I'd say.
It definitely is. There are stripy stockings, so now you're making me question everything. But
There's a few pairs of goggles. Let
there's
it be known there's some
goggles,
goggles
mate.
in
There's
this
goggles
movie.
and there's stripy stockings. It's fucking steampunk. No, it's so cool. I think like what you said about the weird, wacky world. I love good world building, and I do love a post-apocalyptic. I love a post-something or
Some dystopic
some
kind of world.
dystopian shit is what because again, for me, that's very much like how what the subconscious is interested in. And when you sleep and you dream and all the rules are out the window, you come up with this wild stuff or these versions of life that are, not those non-reality, non-workaday worlds. I love them. And they have their heroes and their heroines in this case. Minette, the main character, Miette, I can't even say it, my French is terrible. But and her strongman sidekick, who he's called
right.
Yeah.
One.
Forgot about
He's
that,
called
yes.
One. And
Played
he
by
only
Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
Ron
Yes, of
Perlman
course.
Yeah.
in a fine. This is one of my favorite Ron Perlman roles,
Yeah.
and it just is so beautiful visually. Like my God, and yeah. Look again, I don't even know if it's aged super well but when I was young and I saw it in Swamppool Cinema in the back row. it blew my mind visually. Bubbling green and steamy sewers. And so I don't know. I could just rave on about it.
Yeah, and especially like with this one, like because it's following up their film Delicatessen, which is similar dystopian world. This is their next one afterwards, and you can just see their imagination grow and grow. Because this film really does, it just concerns this scientist who kind of has these surrealist conventions of trying to prolong life or stop aging by stealing the dreams literally from children, like slurping the dreams out of their head.
Yeah.
And I think with that as your starting point for like, what's your movie about? It gave them so much free reign to create such inventive worlds and to really do this like great science fiction world building.
Yeah.
And every kind of shot in this, it feels very painterly, but now watching it back, it feels so murky. Like you're looking through like molasses or something. It's like got such a great look to it.
It's dirty. Like, I find my favorite movies from those days too. And that whole aesthetic of that late 90s, early 2000s time, it was just dirtier. And the world was too. Everything was just not as saccharine. And I don't know, the days before, I don't know what's to blame, social media or the fact that everybody is just constantly perceiving themselves through our phone cameras or whatever. I don't know. It was just a grittier, cooler time. I am a sucker for that aesthetic and the concept. I must say, I think it's probably style over substance. It's not like it's got like, incredible plot twists and an incredible script. That stuff is all in there. It's good. But those directors in particular, they tell their story visually and they tell it with the colors and with that ickiness and the stickiness and the crazy actors and the crazy fisheye close-ups and
I mean that's what it's all about. It's because I don't know if it's for me a film like this I wouldn't go style over substance and say the style is the substance or something like this.
Nice.
Like that's where you get it. And
True.
I think that's why it's a film you've held on to for most of your life, I guess, at this point, going like that's something that defines you. Is like this film, it took you to another world. And that's what's more substantial than that.
And look, it does feature a little girl, being the hero, and that's a very formative Killing Heidi kind of thing. Because I always gravitated towards, that kind of young feminist kind of like, you can be the one. She can be the one. She can be the hero. And up against these evil dream stealers who just want to take it for themselves and bastardize, that and bastardize your youthful magic. I'm just like so down for that.
I think you put it so well. I think that's a great way to introduce people to this film because when I was growing up, this was like the cool film. This and Delicatessen were like, I remember we had them in my video store in like the art house cult section, and they were like really hot rentals to go pick up. But I feel like Amelie became such a big hit that people forgot that they made other films before it.
Dare I say, maybe like the middle Star Wars trilogy. Amelie, I really, really like Amelie very much because Amelie kind of busted down the cool. I am that classic person who's like art house adjacent, but not really so far, so deep. I'm not like a Racerhead, deep and dark. I'm like City of Lost Children, like a little bit quirky, but still kind of accessible and kind of, that's just me. That's just who I am. I'm medium quirky. But then when you go and you get a breakout hit like Amelie and everyone's playing the bloody soundtrack and everyone's like, oh, she's so pretty and it's just like it is a great movie. I'm not trying to throw much shade on it, but to me, it's a bit naff compared to City of Lost Children and compared to Delicatessen.
That's what I want to hear. The mic has been dropped.
I hate romantic comedies anyway, so that's a whole other conversation. I'm down for a movie without romance.
Okay, we're locking up the rom-com section, you guys.
Get rid of it.
It's not
Burn
in
it
here
down.
while
Get
you're
rid of
here.
it. I hate
It's
it.
not here at all.
Romance is not funny.
Well, we've got one more pick, and this is the one that I've been looking forward to talk about most, Jesse, because this is one of, in a weird way, most important films in history because of what it leads to is unbelievable. If you watch this film in a vacuum, you would not believe its place in history.
Nope.
But you have picked up the second film from Peter Jackson.
Yeah, look, I love the first film too. But there's something about this. Now,
The movie, of course, is
Meet the Feebles.
Cult.
Now, I don't know how I came across this movie originally, but I remember me and my crew found it 16, 17, 18.
Yeah.
And binged it and passed it around. And
I remember it had this wacky cover of like, it was for young boys in particular. It'd be so enticing because it was a giant Muppet felt creature with humongous breasts.
Yeah.
And just go like, oh my God, what is this?
Yeah.
And I
That's
remember
right.
finding it the same way and going, I need to see what the fuck this is about.
Well, I rewatched it this morning just to freshen up, and I kind of blew my own mind. In a time before pervading woke and PC-ness, it is unbelievably, filthy, funny, musical, violent, drugs. It's just got everything you could want, really. And then the fact it's like the Muppets on acid,
Yeah.
but then
Yeah.
pushed over the cliff.
The Muppets on bad
Yeah,
acid.
the Muppets on bad.
Oh yeah, actually, right.
It's not nice fractals, guys.
No,
it's
no,
really
no.
fucked up.
You're not hallucinating in a dream world
Actually,
like Wizard
maybe
of Oz.
don't take acid and watch Meet the Feebles.
God.
I should take that back. That might freak some people right out. Like nightmare. Let's replace that word with nightmare.
Yeah.
So Muppets nightmare, torture kind of weirdness. But look, I watched it again. I still laughed and chuckled
Yeah.
today. It was so funny. And yeah, I mean, the whole Peter Jackson legacy. I mean, that's not why I picked it.
Yeah.
I don't care. It could be made by Steve Dave over there. I don't care. I would still fucking love it. I don't care.
Great
It's
director,
not the
Steve Dave.
legacy.
You must check him out.
It's not the legacy. It's not the Peter Jackson
Yeah.
connection for me at all. I loved the original Lord of the Rings trilogy. I was obsessed with that too, and I loved the behind the scenes and watched everything a million times. So I do love Peter Jackson and particularly those movies and those books. But Meet the Feebles is to me is not connected to that at all.
It's hard to even rationalize it and to connect it together. But I rewatched this movie and I was taken all the way back to childhood watching it. Like that early teenage where you're finding what your sense of humor is. Where you're butting up against something. You need something with a little bit of edge to it. Something a bit grotty. This is so grotty and so grubby.
Yeah.
And it's so enjoyable because it's like so creative. The way that the same creativity that went into Lord of the Rings, The Frighteners, the marquee titles of Peter Jackson's filmography, it is also in Meet the Feebles, but in a much more, I guess, feeble-minded way. Like it's him embracing all of these kind of like more grubby, grotty. The way I thought about it was like, it reminded me so much of like a John Waters movie.
Yes.
Where it's like you've got this troupe coming together like the Dreamlanders from a John Waters film, but then they're all gross little puppets that like fuck each other.
Yeah,
Like one of the
yeah.
first things you see is like two puppets having sex, and one's a giant walrus, and
Yep.
the other I cannot believe
The other one's
it.
his employee. There's like the Vietnam vet that's like knife throwing
smack.
heroin addict.
Yeah.
There's the rat who's like filming snuff films and dealing drugs. There's just like the musical. There's a love story in there.
Ella's been taken back
it's
as well, just hearing
it's
it.
got
Start all
a
over
lot
again.
going on. But you're right. I guess the filmmaking part of me just makes me think they would have had so much fun with this movie.
Yeah.
Like there's just like bits. Blood and meat splurting everywhere, animals being blown apart, and then the rat like eating them. It's just like it just goes there. I reckon they would have had a lot of fun
I
with
would
it.
never forget the fly reporter that eats the shit. That's just
Yeah.
like, that's kind of, I get very John Waters, shit eating. Well, it is
Yeah.
a fly, so that's quite
I think
natural for it to do.
He was able to actualize it that way. Go like, yeah, so fly can eat shit, so I can do the John Waters thing
Well,
here.
that's what it goes on,
Yeah.
and it's
And
like,
I love it.
like shit to me, that great line.
Oh, so good. And I mean, it's pretty weird, but like I think if you want to see puppets doing something that's insane, like I just still think it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I agree. Like I think it's a really important movie. Like not just for what it leads to, but for what it meant at the time. And I think there's something about it that I think that if this movie can find you at the right age and the right time, like it will stick with you for the rest of your life.
It sure
Like-
did.
like you can't get rid of seeing Meet the Feebles.
No.
And I'll say like it's been hard to find. Like it was quite around everywhere when I was growing up, but it's been hard to find for a while. But I think it's because, from what I understand, Peter Jackson has got like all the rights to his films, and he's trying to he's remastering them all on like through film onto 4K. So I can't wait to see like what his version of the
gonna
4K
do
Meet the
with
Feebles
that?
looks like.
Whoa.
Because I can't. He's doing that. He's doing Bad Taste. He's doing all of them, and I cannot wait to see like what the fuck
Wow.
they
I
look
think
like.
we
Something to
had
look forward to.
taste on VHS
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well. I think we had
Which
that
is
one,
actually how I think it is meant to be seen.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's doing the right thing. I think he's challenging God by putting them out on 4K. But that's Meet the Feebles. I think one of the supreme. You did the boldest thing by picking Star Wars, but I think this
I
is the
know.
supreme pick of all picks,
thanks,
picking
man.
Meet the Feebles.
Thank
He's
you.
got range, this guy. He's got range from the
That's
most
it.
commercial, biggest franchise of all time to the weirdest movie of all time.
Staff pick.
Well, we've come to the part of the show, guys, where I have to try and compute all that. I'm trying to give you a recommendation together. Because I think I can recommend you guys hundreds of movies each off all of that. So many films come to mind. But to come with one together, I've really struggled. But I think I found something cool.
I'm excited. I
think
have
I
no
found
idea
something
what you're
cool.
about to say. I'm very excited.
So I want to take a few things. I really need to get something with a cool creature was definitely something. Because I think obviously Star Wars, cool creatures, Meet the Feebles, it's all disgusting creatures. But the City of Lost Children also has that kind of like, not quite creature, but that kind of inventive feeling.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking about 28 Days Later a lot. That was the one that's pervased everything for me. So I really want to find you kind of something in that English does American genre almost. And there is another film that probably, I think it's just over 10 years old now. You may have seen it, but if not, I hope I'm giving you a good recommendation. It's a movie called Attack the Block.
Action.
Have you heard of Attack the Block?
Nah.
Can you remind me? I
So,
definitely have
Attack
heard
the
of it.
Block is set in British London council flats.
Yes.
And there's a group of like young delinquent teenagers, ne'er-do-wells, as they like kind of wander around their neighborhood. But something happens. Aliens crash land into their building. And it is about them trying to fight for them and their community and fight against these aliens, try and fend them off. I think it's a really cool movie. Another Star Wars connection is it's John Boyega from the sequel trilogy's breakout film. And he's incredible in this as a
Yes.
young man. But the reason I really want to give it to you guys is like, I think it has some of the coolest, greatest creatures in any kind of monster science fiction
I'm
film.
so keen.
There are these aliens that kind of run on all fours. They're like fluffy and woolly, but they're almost like negative darkness, where like they're so dark you can't make out stuff in them. But they have these bright glowing teeth.
Yes.
So
Oh
there's
my
something
God.
about them that I think will tick a lot of both of your boxes.
Love it. Love it.
But I think it's the exact right thing in between Star Wars, Meet the Feebles, 28 Days Later, City of Lost Children.
They said it couldn't be done.
I said it couldn't be done, and somehow I still proved myself wrong.
Awesome.
But hopefully it goes well. While you're on
Thank
tour,
you.
chuck it on the DVD player,
Let's do
put
it.
it on the VHS.
Watch it, let's watch it.
We've got the night off
Yeah.
tonight, actually.
Really?
I've got my laptop
okay.
here.
Yeah, load it up.
Thank you for the recommendation.
Thank
My
you.
God, Jesse, Ella, thank you so much for coming in. I've been looking forward to this so much. I can't believe that it's come through. Thank you for coming in. To hang out
Thanks.
last
This
minute
has been the
store.
funnest bit of promo we've done on our 25-year reunion.
Don't tell everybody
joint.
else.
Don't tell all the other blogs and radio stations.
This is the only thing I'm gonna release. Is just that
Oh,
1 minute
then we
of
get
you
in
saying that
trouble.
this is the most fun you've had.
Shut up, Ella.
But Reflector, the album's 25th anniversary, you're touring it around Australia. What's it been like kind of, I mean, this show's all about nostalgia as well, but what's it been like kind of accessing nostalgia for your own life and artistry and creativity?
Yeah,
our
look,
stock in
it's wild. I think there's some similarities there. Reflector, for a year or a moment was that video that everyone had. Like it was it was on every radio station. We're on every TV show. We're on a Pepsi can. We actually. With Science Village Roadshow, so that when their videos went to their stores, they put our video clip at the start before the previews. Did you know that? How good is that? So when people would go to the video store and they hated our band, they'd get a video, and what comes up first? Our video clip. So we were like, it was pervasive. So I feel like it is a bit like one of those movies that everyone can kind of connect to or knows of or saw it or loved or whatever. And
They somehow saw it. Yeah.
our music is a big part of people's lives of that particular era, you know, whether they liked it or not, it was everywhere. And so we love reliving that. It's about people's connections to those memories and the music as much as it's about us. And we just get to play it, and we get to see people
Yeah, what's it like looking out into
Get
the
nostalgic
crowd?
and
It's beautiful. It's like it's a real honor because it's a rare thing is the band that people still want to see 25 years later playing their same songs. You know, there ain't we only made 3 records and then we wrapped it up, and we've chosen quite consciously to lean into being a nostalgia band.
Yeah.
We're not trying to sell you our new stuff. Oh, we play the new stuff at the end. No, we don't. We just literally play all the stuff off Reflector, and in this case, literally every song start to finish. We're just playing the album in full, which we've never done, which is pretty crazy. But, you know, and another movie reference, I feel like this band and that album, it's kind of like it was the summer of their lives. It's that to us and a lot of people.
Going back to it. Wow. Well, thank you for stopping by the video store on your way through.
It was fun. I'm glad you like our picks.
I loved them.
Yeah.
This is like one of
Nerve-wracking.
the greatest lineups we've had on the show.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, guys.
Anytime.
That was so fun.
The last video store.
So that was Jesse and Ella Hooper from Killing Heidi. Their album re-release, the 25th anniversary re-release of Reflector is out now. I've got the vinyl sitting right in front of me. The tour is on right now. I hope that I'm there. I hope that I'm watching it. I really, really hope I'm there. That's me now going, please invite me backstage, guys. Please invite me.
Pull me on stage, please.
Pull me on stage. I want to dance around like Courtney Cox.
Let me do a little dance
on stage, please. But that is Killing Heidi. So much fun. They picked up Star Wars, first to ever do it. They picked up Meet the Feebles. They picked up 28 Days Later. They picked up City of Lost Children, and I gave to them Attack the Block. And I think I did a really good job with that little in-between for that film.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, my pleasure.
And I'm not paid to say that. I am a
Well,
little bit.
you're not paid to compliment me. You're paid to help edit the production and help book the guests and, you know, make sure the recording's going
But
on.
it said in my contract I did have to compliment you.
Really?
Yeah.
That was not a stipulation by me.
It was written in on crayon.
But I would
actually.
just say the guys at Batuta know me well that I would need to have compliments from the producer at all times. But yeah, hopefully go see the tour. That's really, really out there. And if you want to get in touch with us on the show, you can hit us up on Last Video Store Batuta on Instagram, TikTok. You can do it on the YouTube page. If you give us like what your rental combo would be, I'm searching out for them and I will give you an actual recommendation based on your taste. We've got a few to go through still at the moment, but I'm always looking for fresh customers to give recommendations to. So hit us up on the YouTube as well. This episode in particular will be quite a fun one on the YouTube, I'd say.
Yes, on the YouTube.
On the YouTube. TheYouTube.com is what I call it. But thank you for joining us. And until next time, I'll see you at the movies. And until next time, listener and viewer, I'll see you at the movies. And until next time, Jesse and Ella Hooper, I'll see you backstage at the show because I want to be there. I'm a big fan. I can't help it. I'm a psycho. I can't help it.
Through the people.
I was so cool during the episode. And then immediately afterwards, I'm like, oh, I'm actually a huge fan. That's why I asked you all these questions about Spider-Man. And
I'm cutting
looking for
before this
ALIBRANDI.
gets worse. Cut
Cut it.